Hello, everybody, and welcome back to On the Level with yours truly, Brian Lee. In studio today, we have a great friend and vendor partner, Joe Fortuna with Fortuna Realtors. We're going to be discussing the things that will make your home saleable in the near future. If you want to put the home up for sale, you want to move, get the kids into a different school district, Joe's going to share with us the insight on what needs to be done for those fix-ups. And of course, Metro Home Improvements is there to do the fix-ups for you to get that house sellable again. Hey, Joe, great to have you in studio today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brian. It's good to see you.
You too, as well. My pleasure. Hey, so I wanted to have you on the show to talk to the folks today, as well as anyone else. We've been vendor partners. We cross paths back and forth. You refer fix-ups and things to us to get your client's home sellable, or, they move in and they want some fix-ups done to the home. And then obviously we refer clients to you that want to sell their home, list it and put it up because, you're a really well-trusted realtor in the Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne areas. So obviously it's great to have you in to talk about that. So let's dive right into it. Let me ask you a couple of questions. What are you seeing right now as far as trends with folks when they purchase a home? Like, what would the fix-ups be?
Well, I tell you what, Brian, the more and more nowadays, people want a house that's move-in ready. Right. We will look at a number of homes. There's not a lot on the market, but when they do see something, they want something that they can move right into. They go right to the basics, right? How is my roof, my windows, my HVAC, my flooring? Those are your main ones, right? And then for updates, they're going right into the kitchen and bathrooms. Those are I would say that's my checklist when I walk through a house with somebody. We're looking to see, is this house stable? Does it have good bones? And then it's like, okay, what's the kitchen and bathrooms like? Because that's where the meat and potatoes of your upgrades are going to come from. Right. When you're updating a house, paint and cosmetics are real easy for someone to handle, maybe as a do-it-yourself project or something. But when they want to bring in a professional, they go right to kitchen and bathrooms.
So I guess reiterating on it, are kitchens and baths like at the top of the list, the checklist for people when they're looking at a new home?
Yeah, I would say so. It's the first thing that gets their attention, and as an agent, I'm trying to make sure that they're making a good investment and walking them through and assessing the property as if I'm walking my own family through. And I go through the checklist of the big ticket items to make sure that house is going to be good and stable for them. It's not going to give them like lasting issues, no foundation problems, doesn't need all new flooring, doesn't need a new roof. And if it does, we kind of take that in consideration in our offers and our negotiations. But when someone's looking at what am I going to do with this space? Am I going to be happy here? Can I be functional here? What's going to serve my family? It seems to start in the kitchen and then works its way into the other, bathrooms, living spaces, stuff like that.
Right. The kitchen is the epicenter of the home, right?
Yeah.
I mean, during holidays and birthdays and parties, everyone congregates in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that we see with you and also with our other vendor partners and when we look at homes is people want that open concept. They want that kitchen to open up to a great living room area where everyone can get together and they can share in the conversation, good food, and obviously maybe a couple glasses of vino.
Yeah, right. Every house has to have its character, right? And so some of your older homes, historical homes, houses that someone might be updating might be best suited to keep the rooms intact and the layout intact the way it is. But what you see people gravitate towards, like you said, if you're going to use the space, if you're going to, actually be, interactive with people that you have over, the kitchen's kind of where it's at, family room, they kind of have an open space, an open concept, tends to serve them well.
Yeah, I agree. I see that all the time as well. Like the first question I get asked is do you folks do kitchens and bathrooms? And then we're like, yeah, that's like our bread and butter. And they're like, can you design something for me? And we're like, absolutely. That's my background is architecture and design. So, when I go in there and I look at projects, we measure each wall and we lay things out for them, because when they see that house, the old expression, you only get one chance at that first glance, right?
Yeah.
So you want that homeowner, when they walk in the home, to have somewhat of a vision if that kitchen and bath isn't done, and say, hey, you know what? I can create this, this, and this, and it'll be exactly what we wanted and what we've always been looking for.
Yeah, and I think that's important with the design, and something I've seen in a lot of your work is that you're keeping the integrity of that home. Like this home was meant to be, an open floor plan. It was meant to be like an eat-in kitchen, or this was meant to be, like a hosting, area. You design around that. It's not like you're putting a modern look in a classical home, or you're putting, something that doesn't fit. So the best of both worlds. That's why design is so important. So many people try to go figure this out themselves at Home Depot or on the fly. And it's like, I like that countertop. I like that color of the cabinets. Okay, but let's talk about the functionality of the kitchen. Let's talk about what goes with the overall, essence of the house and the character of the house. I think that's why it's so important. When I send a client to you, I know it's going to be, you're going to protect the integrity of that house, and you're going to build around that. And that's really going to be something that's going to be lasting. It's not going to be something they're like, why'd we do this? Let's take this out of here.
Right. That's why one of the key things that I always stress is fit and finish.
Yeah.
Those are the big things that I tell people. The fit and finish have to go hand in hand with the project, right? Mm-hmm. If you're renovating a 1920s farmhouse, or you're renovating a 2000, we call them the mini mansion or McMansion, and anything in between, you want the fit and finish to have a flow to it, and you want it to obviously work with your space and work with your family and what you want to achieve out of it, but yet remain some integrity, have some integrity, remain with that.
Yeah, I see that a lot in flooring.
Sure.
When you have a home that has either original hardwood floors that can be refinished, or what I like that sometimes you guys will do is come in and actually add new hardwood floor, not the laminate, not the vinyl plank stuff, to a house that it fits the flow of that house. That's a lasting touch that people notice, and it doesn't feel cookie cutter, and it doesn't feel like a lot of this new construction that they're spinning out nowadays. It doesn't have the same feel as a house that somebody walks in. It's like, it's got a warm, hardwood floor, and this has, cabinets to go with it. And I feel like that's important, to when it makes sense, to add those kind of features.
I agree. And again, from your standpoint, like we refer to you because you're an expert at this, because you guys figure out what the price of the home's going to be and what the sales price is going to be. And, you've got to, you want to maximize everything for the homeowner. And we understand that because, we're coming from that same background. We want to give them everything that we possibly can. But would you consider like doing hardwood floors? Would you say that is a great return on investment? Is that a good dollar investment?
I would say, and I again, my checklist, if the roof is intact, HVAC is decent, and they have good windows, flooring is probably the number one most visually stimulating upgrade, right? You walk in, the first thing you're looking at is the flooring. And I feel like that, to me, when we have good flooring in a house, I can't wait to list that house. I can't wait to feature that house. It gives a presence and something that the client's going to remember about that home. They feel it, they walk on it. It's everything is built to go with that flooring.
Right. The one thing that I love about you guys at Fortuna Realtors is that when you guys walk into a home, the photographs that you take and the way that you guys present it online, I mean, you could have an older home and you guys actually make that home you make a house feel like a home. Does that make sense if you make it feel warm and inviting for people?
Yeah, gone are the days, if you want to do this right, gone are the days of trying to snap photos. I remember clients saying, can you use photos that I took of the house? Can you use, photos I just snapped with my phone? I've seen agents try to still do that. Someone's putting their life into this house, okay? And you guys put the work into this house to really give it its its highest and best presentation, the best thing that we can do is bring in a professional photographer. I have the absolute best. Ryan comes in. He does micro staging as he goes through to make sure that we're accentuating everything that you did. If you did an island, we want them to see. We take the clutter off the island. We get the right angles, get the right lighting, make sure that the house is presented in its best light.
Yeah.
Because they put a lot into that house. Their whole life is put into that house. Your whole work is put into that house. We want that to come across. And that's why the photography, I think, is so important in our work.
It goes back to with the homeowner that if they've made the decision to do a remodel and they've done it professionally, like when you were first out and people are like, you know what, I want this, this, and this, and I want it to be top quality and I want it to be top notch. That just transcends into people having pride of ownership.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge thing when people have pride of ownership, because not only does the house show well, but the house is actually designed well, and I think it makes it easier for you guys when you go to sell the home or list the home, does it not?
Think about when you walk through a house, and you've bought a lot of properties yourself, the first thing you notice when something's kind of out of place or someone did a project themselves and they didn't really quite get it polished, and you're like, that molding doesn't line up, that floor joist is kind of off, that cabinet's not sitting level, and you think, okay, it's one thing, but if I can see this out in the open, what am I missing behind the walls? And I feel like that type of feeling really hits people hard when they're trying to make the biggest investment of their life, is having it show well and looked polished on the outside gives them some confidence that there's some ownership in how the house has been maintained, with the HVAC, with the mechanicals, with the rest of the home. Did they heat it properly? Did they, take care of the hardwood floors properly? Did they clean it with the right materials?
Right.
I feel like all of that shows up in the pride of the presentation.
I couldn't agree with you more. And one thing that you just hit on, which is kind of a sticking point for me. There's certain individuals in the real estate industry, and they constantly preach to people, and I think it's a level of stupidity, but that's my personal opinion, and that's what makes America great. We can all have an opinion, right? But they say, buying a home is the dumbest investment that you could make. You should rent. What's your theory on that? Are you the same as I am?
Listen, I've done both. Okay, I've rented, I've bought. I feel like when I buy a house, even if it's a house that I'm going to rent out or flip, I feel like this is a representation of me. And if I buy this house and I'm going to live in this house especially, I want this to be my best presentation of the house. So I really, for me, I feel like you really have to take pride in your home. Owning a house is a sense of pride for me, for my whole family, and I think that you get this with people that they'll rent a house and take care of it like their own, but no one takes care of a place the way they do when they own the house.
Right.
And it's because of that pride. They feel that this is my home. I put something into this. I raise my family here. I do my work here. I feel safe here. I think that is an actual, it's something that's missed with the younger generation that's listening to a lot of these, investor moguls that say, only use a mortgage or only buy a place when you're going to do it for investment. There's something to be said about owning a house. And not only that, the tax advantages, the long-term wealth that you can build in home ownership.
Yeah.
You can't replicate that anywhere else.
Right. And I agree wholeheartedly with you. I think that home ownership should be afforded to everyone. And I do believe that everyone should own their own home.
Yeah.
Just because the equitable value that you're going to get out of it, when you're young, if you buy a duplex, you live in half, you rent the other half out, and you fix it up, and you stay there for a couple of years, that's your next stepping stone, right?
Yeah.
To other things that are going to come later on down the road, and they're going to help to build wealth, and they'll help to build generational wealth. But again, coming from a realty standpoint, and you guys are the experts at this, that's why I draw upon your guys' experience so much. Everyone should own a home, and everyone should take care of that home, because that equity that they've built, that's a nest egg for later on. If they were to get sick or they were to get into trouble and they had to sell the property, now they have money to be able to take care of those problems.
I just talked to a client just this morning. that had bought a condo to live in it for a short amount of time, had to move for work, kept the condo, rented it out. She's not netting a lot of money from it, maybe $700 or $800 per month. But we went back and looked at it. In the past 6 years that she's owned it, she's averaged almost $18,000 a year in appreciation and about, close to $10,000 in cash flow. So there's money that's not being realized there until that you maybe sell it, but you are building wealth at the same time.
Not to mention, she didn't have to pay $10,000 a year out of her pocket. Someone else is paying the mortgage payment.
Somebody else is making that investment for you.
And that helps because, that's 1/3 of a 30-year mortgage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, your typical mortgage is 30 years. If she's had it rented out for 10 years, that's 1/3 of her mortgage that was paid by somebody else. Yeah. That's the smartest thing to do. That's OPM, using other people's money to obviously gain financially for yourself. And that's a great thing. That's why we love to work hand in hand with you, because you run across investors and those investors want to fix up the homes and they need work done, and we come in and we get it done for them. And it's just a win-win for all of us. You sell the home to the investor. You refer us, we come in and do the work. The investor capitalizes on that afterwards. They're able to rent it out for top money in the market.
Yeah.
Put a decent, great, loving family in there that, are looking to get a start. Yeah. And they'll take care of that home, because it's all brand new. They got a sense of pride when people come over. They're like, hey, come on over and check out my new place.
Yeah. And I like to refer, always have, and I know you do too, based on experience, right? So my first home that I bought, I was 25 years old in Auburn Hills.
I remember,
and that was the first house that turned into a rental for me, because once we moved, we kept the house, turned it into a rental. That was a source of cash flow, but also appreciation. Over the years, we made a lot of money on that house. When I had a tenant basically do some damage to the property, that's when it was the first time I was able to enlist your services. You came over, you fixed the problem, redid the entire basement for me, got that house to its highest and best state. We were able to put another tenant in there, recoup all of our losses in a short amount of time. But it goes back to, this is something that we own. This is something that we take pride in. And it makes sense for us to bring in a professional to, remedy the situation, to remodel it, to update it, because now that house over the years has brought, probably twice as much revenue as I've paid into it. And it's something you go back and look at over time. You don't realize it while it's happening, but it's actually a good source of income.
It is. And you made another great valid point, right? So you were able to recoup the money that you spent with us to get the house put back on the market, right? And get it re-rented out. And then I think another great point here is that while you had that home, you were building wealth based on, collecting rent for it, and then eventually being able to turn around and sell that house, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that goes a long way. You know what I mean? That starts you down the path. Buy one, hold on to it, rent it, or flip it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's an additional income source. I mean, there's people today, young people, which I applaud them for doing it, that are buying these homes that are dilapidated, and they're going in and they're fixing them up, and they're able to either rent them or sell them. And it's helping the young people get interested and get involved in real estate, because for far too long, there were too many vacant properties, as you and I both know.
Yeah, and pushing people to rent instead of pushing people to buy, and just a whole generation lost on opportunity.
Right.
And what you're seeing now is just like a resurgence of that idea, because we have these opportunities now to take a home, and not, maybe if you're not going to sell the house, maybe you just want to upgrade it and stay there yourself. We've experienced high interest rates in the past couple of years, so people have made the decision that, okay, I'm not going to move. I'm going to take the house I have now and improve it. Now, when they are hitting the market, they're finding out with me that, oh my God, this house is worth 10 to 20% more than it was just 2 years ago.
Right.
And that money that they put into the upgrades, they're getting back tenfold.
Yeah, that used to be our tagline. Why move when you can improve?
Yeah.
And it still reigns true today. Yeah. With the interest rates where they're at currently, and the cost of goods and services where they're at, right? It makes sense. If you're in a home and you like the area where you're at, but you just want, nicer things, it makes so much sense to give us a call, have us come out. We do a free analysis of what you want to have done. We give you a price, you know what I mean? And we get that house fixed up. And then later on down the road, I refer you guys out, and then you guys get to go in and list the home that we fixed up, and you're able to put it on the market and sell it for the homeowner and let them capitalize on what we did, and also the appreciation as the house has gained, significant appreciation over 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just all about fact finding with somebody to find out what's important to them. Maybe after talking to them that we kind of looked around and we're not finding what we're looking for, but we think we can do it in our own house. So we always like to have that conversation with them to say, can this house actually be upgraded to meet your needs? And if it is, you can still sell it later. You're going to get the money back if you have to put money into it.
Right.
And if not, let's go find something that we can maybe convert into what you need.
Right.
I just recently helped somebody. They wanted to be on the water, but they were really looking for a 3-bedroom. We were able to find them a property that could be converted to a 3-bedroom, and it needed a little bit of work to get that done. But by the time it was all done, they got what they wanted. They got their 3 bedrooms. They're only there part of the time anyway, and they're going to see the appreciation of that property from the work that they did. Remember, a 3-bedroom gives you better comparables than a 2-bedroom.
Right.
So over time, you're making money on it, especially if we add square footage to the house. And now they've got an opportunity later to make that decision.
Joe, what do you think about the programs that are available to homeowners to fix up their homes? We've got the FHA 203Ks, and then there's also if you're in a area that is blighted or low income, they also have the Michigan Housing and Development Authority. They've got loans for those, right? So what do you think about those programs? Are they favorable for homeowners to apply for and get to fix up their homes, or should they go traditional lending routes?
Well, what I think that a lot of people miss is even though we have the government programs that may be limited on how much you can actually spend on the rehab, we also have conventional programs that'll do complete rehabs, and they base it on the as completed value. I have been in the lending space also since 1998 and very familiar with these products. We have partners that'll do them for us. And what'll happen is you have a house that you could pick up, let's say for $200, $220, but it needs some work to get it up to the $350 or $400 you need it to be. They'll do the lending based on the $350 to $400 on the plans. You come in and do the work. Once that work is done, the house is appraised as completed. The loan is based on that. And the amount that they're putting out of their pocket down on this property is 10%, 20% at the most, just like a normal mortgage. So there's opportunities for people to get financing to do this stuff, even in the conventional route. So yes, the FHA, fantastic opportunity for somebody who really needs to get in and get it done on some minor changes. But boy, they can even look at conventional and do complete rehabs, complete remodels, as you've done on some of these properties.
Yeah, we get commonly referred to come into things to do remodels, total remodel, gut and redos, right? And folks will say, hey, do you have anybody that can do this type of lending? And I look at it and I'll say, well, we can get you an aftermarket value appraisal, right? So based on a set of blueprints that are drawn and a contract that we write up with them for the work that's going into it, they'll do an aftermarket value appraisal. And then, that's a conventional product.
Yeah.
And then the other one that we're seeing a lot are construction loans, right?
Yeah.
So they go to their credit union or they go to the bank and they get a construction loan, and then we do the job based on draws, that we create with the bank and in accordance with it and agreed on. And I know you guys are very well versed in it because, again, you hit on that. You've been in the lending space for quite a long time. And in fact, you've helped out family members of mine.
Yeah.
So again, thank you for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's always a solution if we just know what the client really needs and we know what their needs are for their housing.
Right.
It's either going to be in their current home or it's going to be in the next one. And a lot of times it just takes, some consultative, investigation with them to find out what's best for them. Because you do what's best for the client, I do what's best for the client. It just makes make sure that the opportunities that are afforded to them fit their needs.
Absolutely. And again, that is one of the most important things, right? When you have a contractor such as Metro and you have a realtor partner such as Fortuna Realtors, when you have these people in place, we're working to help you. We're working to guide you. We're working to help you get what you want out of the project. We want to give them the top-notch job, best materials that we possibly can. And then the other thing is to be able to fit it within your budget and be budget-minded. So the homeowner, doesn't overspend and doesn't go crazy because, routinely I have to throttle people back and I have to say, hey, you don't need solid gold handles on the toilet.
Yeah, and we do a complete market analysis with someone, and we look at it from 5 different ways, with improvements, without improvements, as is, versus, updated.
Correct.
Moving into something that is going to need some work versus moving into something that's move-in ready, and how you balance that strategy. Once you have your strategy, we have the people in place, but it really just depends on what's going to work best for these people, time-wise, budget-wise.
Are you still overseeing all of that yourself?
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of agents that work underneath you.
Yeah.
Are you still doing all that yourself? Are you working, to oversee the guys and help them through that?
Yeah, and since I've been doing this since 1998, and it's a passion of mine because I feel like the solution, finding the solutions, problem solving it's the best part of the job. We're helping people out. So yeah, can we put a sign in any house and sell any house? Yeah, absolutely. Can we, help somebody, write a contract to buy a house that they found themselves? Sure. There's all that kind of stuff going on out there. But what really is a passion for me is let's see what the client needs. What's possible for them? What's possible with their house? What we can turn this house into? What vendors we can bring in? How can we partner with you guys to make it better? And then we put a solution together for them that makes sense.
The one thing that really impresses me about you, and I've known you for quite some time, not only do I know you through business, but you and I have coached football together.
That's right. Yeah.
That's another one of our passions, right?
Yeah.
And our kids attended school and the same schools together. And, we go back that way as well. But the one thing that really impresses me is that you put your name on your business. You didn't put a company name that you just drew up one day, right? You went out there and you put your name on the business. So it's all you. So people know, if I'm calling Fortuna Realtors, it's Joe Fortuna, right? And that's one of the things that I've always been impressed with you. Like, you've not been afraid to stick your neck out there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I know we have good people that work on our team. We were very careful about who we bring into our team, and we're lucky to have some of the best people. But at the end of the day, as a broker, the way this works is kind of on me. Just like anything that happens on the job site is really your project.
It is.
So that's why we take the pride in it that we have to, but it's also we have a watchful eye. And we want that responsibility because that's our passion.
And you're like we are. You're licensed and you're insured and you're governed through the state of Michigan, right? And same as we are, right? We're licensed and we're insured and we're governed through the state of Michigan. And that goes hand in hand with just being able to take care of the customer and look out for the customer, right? They know that they've got professional people who have their best interests at heart. Mm-hmm. And I know you guys always have, and I know we always have. So, we're proud to be a partner with Fortuna Realtors, and we look forward to continued success in the marketplace. Let the viewers know if they want to sell a house, if they want an analysis, a cost analysis. Mm-hmm. Do you guys provide that service for free? Do you go out and see them and do an analysis for them if they're thinking about listing the home, and let them know how they can actually get in touch with you to do such?
Yeah, I think a great way to start is we do our homework. We do a comparative market analysis. We sit down and talk to the homeowner, or if they're a buyer, talk to the buyer to find out what's important to them. And we put our game plan together. The best way to contact me, you can go to my website. You can go to joe.fortunarealtors.com. Or you can contact me direct, cell phone, 586-615-2868. You can always get a hold of me through Brian, one of my trusted friends and partners. But we're here to help. FortunaRealtors.com is our general website, but my direct link is joe.fortunarealtors.com.
And folks, if you're thinking about planning or selling your home, or you want a cost analysis and you want to see what the fix-up items might be, Joe's the guy to call. He's the guy to talk to. He'll start you down the right path and get you going. Like I said, we've never had an issue with you in the years that we've done business together, and we have a lot of happy clients who have chosen both Metro Home Improvement and Fortuna Realtors to represent them. I'd like to thank you for coming in today. I mean, it was so insightful, and I think all of our viewers are going to really enjoy watching the show and learning. And that's what I created On the Level for, is obviously to showcase Metro Home Improvement, and then to showcase the vendors and partners that I have chosen to represent Metro over the years and themselves, because, at the end of the day, you and I both have the shingle hung on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's all on us, right? So we've got to do the right thing for our clients.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you for having me here today. I'm excited about all the great things we're going to be able to accomplish for people this year and beyond. And it's been a fun ride so far. Yeah,
2025 should be special. I mean, with the new administration coming in and the changes that are going on, I don't get political, but, there are some exciting things that they're announcing. And, every day is a new challenge and a new excitement that you turn on the news and you find something out. But, in 2025, I just think that there's going to be a lot of cool things coming up. And I think folks are they're finally ready to move, and they are for sure doing the fix-ups. That's for sure. My phone's ringing.
Yeah, it is. Mine's too.
Again, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate having you on the show.
All right,
folks.
Buddy.
We'll see you again. We'll do another informative podcast and get it out there for you on a daily basis. If you click the link down below and you can subscribe to our YouTube, our Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook at Metro Home Improvements. We also have a Facebook page for On the Level. Just reach out to us, and if you have any questions, you can go ahead and comment when you go ahead and click and like and subscribe, and I'll be sure to get back with you on any questions that you have. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful, great day.